All right, good morning once again, and it's the third day in the month of November 2015. In a few days' time, it's going to be my birthday, and so you try as much as possible to get the details and send my gift to the appropriate quarters. It's really very important, and I'm expecting it.
You can address it to me.
Yes. And it's my birthday, not your birthday.
I will receive it on your behalf, come on.
Okay, Ishoma is a very capable partner. And then, believe you me sincerely, she'll be taking a couple of gifts, on my behalf. And I want to believe that with her Christian mind, she's not going to do anything but to just deliver them appropriately. Mind. All right, we're saying a very big good morning to everyone watching us and wherever you are watching us from. This is Cool TV, channel 196 on Star Times. Welcome to Crossfire. And it's a Tuesday morning, and I believe very strongly that everybody is going about their businesses, as usual. And I quickly want to ask, how are you? Maybe somebody has not even told you that this morning. So, Ishoma, how are you? Good morning.
I'm doing good. Good morning, Nigerians.
Great. Good to have you back on the show, Ishoma. And then we have someone really very, with an in-depth knowledge and analysis when it comes to national matters. And I believe very strongly that you will enjoy having him in the studio, just like we are happy to have him here. And let's welcome Mr. Duke. How are you this morning?
I'm very good, Dapo.
Good to have you on the show.
Thank you.
Good to have you on the show.
Thank you very much.
Once again. Now, we're definitely going to be addressing something really very important to you and to me and to every Nigerian who is interested in the progress of this country. How do we recover back the Nigerian economy? That's something that everybody wants an answer to. So we have brought him into the studio. So Duke Oputa will be helping to analyze the state of the Nigerian economy, what the government needs to do, and how very quickly or soon that we see the Nigerian economy being recovered. But before we do that, we take you through a few stories that are trending. Buhari and Jonathan met yesterday in a secret meeting. They were somewhere, and we really don't have, the details. The meeting lasted for about 10 minutes, and we're not really very sure what the content of the meeting is all about. But one very clear thing is that the meeting probably started and ended well, because the former president arrived, the wing where the meeting actually held, that is the new banquet hall of the presidential villa. And this lasted for about 10 minutes, like I said, with no aides in present. You and I may be wondering what exactly the former president and President Muhammadu Buhari actually discussed in 10 minutes. I think it's just to pass one or two information across and say, okay, I got that. And they parted very well. Both of them smiled as the former president approached his jeep and drove out of the villa. So we definitely will be waiting, because we know definitely one way or the other the information will eventually make the public domain. Now, yesterday we talked a little about this, and we quickly take it also today and look at the pedigree of this list, because we have a couple of instances where lists have been released into the public domain and eventually it turns out to be the correct list. So we don't know anything about this, if it is fake or if it is true. And that is the fake ministerial portfolios in circulation. We're not even very sure if the president will be operating ministers in pool, or eventually he's going to be coming out with portfolios for the ministers. And so we definitely will be taking a look at these two stories in depth. And then 2 billion pension scam. EFCC declares Maina wanted. Now, Abdul Rashid Maina is the former chairman of the pension reform tax team, and he worked with two gentlemen who were alleged to have fraudulently, siphoned about 2 billion naira in the biometric contract through which he and the former head of service, that's Steve Oronsaye, and other alleged, were said to have, carted away with about 2 billion naira in the pension fund. And so we really don't know the details, but we have it that Mr. Abdul Rashid Maina is in hiding. And so anybody who have vital information as to where it can be found, I mean, EFCC will be very, very happy to probably...
The issue a lot of people do not, some people do not know what he looks like. So if...
Oh, no, his picture is everywhere in the public domain.
Well,
I know what it looks like, even if I don't see the picture. You know?
Those of us here in the media, at least we're privileged to know, but I'm talking about the average man out there on the street. Probably he may be living amongst and they may not know.
And they may not even know. Anyway, that's a possibility. That's a very, very high possibility. And then the last story that would probably touch will be Labour threatens action over unresolved power issues. Now, organized labour in the nation's power sector says over 50,000 former employees of the defunct PHCN, that's Power Holding Company of Nigeria, are still being owed benefits. Now, while over 5,000 are yet to receive any entitlement more than two years after the privatization of the power assets. Now, the Labour, speaking through the National Union of Electricity Employees, also claimed that over 50 billion naira meant for the payment of entitlements of the ex-PHCN employees have been lodged into a fixed deposit account in one of the Nigerian banks, and interest is yielding, either daily or weekly or monthly, and individuals are complaining, because the beneficiaries actually have no access to this fund. Now, let's take this story one after the other and quickly just just say one or two things about them, and then we go into the main focus for today. Now, Buhari and Jonathan met yesterday in a secret meeting. I don't see any reason why the former president and President Muhammadu Buhari will actually be engaging in a meeting behind a closed door, no aides, no press, no nothing, and you keep wondering what exactly could have transpired between these two gentlemen.
Well, speculation. It's a very, very difficult one. There's a lot of stuff online about what they discussed, but obviously we're not going to harp on any of them because we don't have any.
Now, Duke, let me quickly prompt you here. Don't forget that a few hours to this meeting, the President Muhammadu Buhari made a statement. He said, I will not stop talking about, corruption, that took place during the Jonathan administration. And I don't know. I'm just thinking, because I was just thinking, what could have prompted a very quick meeting or an urgent or an emergency meeting between the two presidents?
Well, wasn't that emergent? Apparently, the meeting was actually brokered by Abdul Salam Abubakar,
the peacemaker,
another ex.
The peacemaker, of course.
And apparently, it would appear that Buhari did not want to meet Jonathan in the first instance. Otherwise, there would have been no need for the intervention from Abubakar.
All the times they have met, information have it that Abdusalami Abubakar, who is the representative of the generals in Nigeria today, always brokered the meeting.
Well, he does. And he brokers it on behalf of all former heads of states.
Yes.
And what one suspects is this. Once you've been at the helm of affairs in this country, you have privilege to certain information that most of us would never ever get wind of. So part of this information would be, recently we just had some statements about who delivered a bomb that killed Gilegiwa.
Exactly.
And then the police talked about reopening an investigation.
Exactly.
And when you do that, you're talking about Babangida, because he was the man in charge at the time. So basically, the skeletons in the cupboards of our ex-states...
Akilu has always been a suspect in the Gilegiwa.
Nevertheless, we all always knew what happened.
Who delivered the
Yes, absolutely.
anyway.
But nevertheless, the police never did know. For some reason, everybody else knows, but the police doesn't know. But now, the point I'm making is that former heads of states are worried. Because if Buhari really does continue to harp on Jonathan and eventually decides to start probing him specifically, as opposed to his administration in general, it will open up a can of worms. Because Jonathan will come on the stand and say, look, when I came into government, I met these two. I met that. I had this file in front of me. EFCC brought this. And I put them aside. Now, shall we bring them all up because they're all linked? Exactly. So in other words, the point is, I think there's a concerted effort for our ex-leaders to protect themselves against what they see as a potential landmine if Buhari
protect themselves as against protecting Nigeria.
Thank you very much.
That's crucial.
That's absolutely the point. And this is why some of us are still saying that the government is not yet focusing on Nigerians. Because if they are focusing on Nigerians, then you should be thinking about what is in the best interest of the country as a whole.
Exactly.
And it is probing corruption as opposed to recovering specifically looted funds. I can understand when the government goes after specifically looted funds. If $10 billion was missing from somewhere, you go after it. But if you're going to be looking at corruption holistically, then it means that absolutely everybody in this country is probable.
Okay, we need to touch on we need to touch on all the stories.
Can I please, before we quickly do them, move to the other stories now. Some people are also saying that the reason why the president is skeptical on going after this corruption as regards the ex-heads of states is because of their power, the kind of power they have immersed, and the kind of control they have on the polity, on Nigeria as it is to do that. If the president goes ahead to probe and reveal all of this secret and recover all the funds, they could actually put Nigeria in chaos. Do you think that's true?
No, I don't think that is a reason.
Security-wise.
No, that's not a reason for not doing it. Because if you accept that as a legitimate reason for not doing it, then more corruption, more looting is going to happen by people who are powerful enough to stop anybody probing them. So, in other words, Buhari has to bite the bullet and fight the fight. It doesn't matter what it costs him as an individual. He has to fight the fight. The truth of the matter is Nigeria needs to be taken out of where it is and taken somewhere else.
Are Nigerians ready to give Mr. President all that support?
Absolutely. By electing him in the first instance, they've given him that support because he was elected on a platform to fight corruption. His last statement was, I'm going to fight corruption to a standstill. That's what he said.
Because at the press conference, he made that statement. And as a matter of fact, because the question, it was actually a specific question that he answered, that he gave that response to was that, what exactly would you want the nation to remember you for after you must have gone? And that was his response. Anyway, I'm very sure we'll have more information about, what the meeting is all about. Eventually when the story, trends more. Now, fake ministerial portfolios in circulation. I mean, a fake list purporting to show the allocation of portfolios to the minister's nominee has gone into circulation. Now, this list went viral yesterday, and it was not signed by any government officials. Neither was it attributed to anyone. But I mean, it started, putting portfolios to a couple of gentlemen and women in the list of the supposed ministerial confirmation that the president already have. Now, the president has allocated no portfolios up till now. Today is Tuesday the 3rd, and this is marking close to 6 months that the new government have been in power. And yet, I mean, we have gone through all the drama of the nominee list and then the screening by the Senate and a lot of other things that, that actually dominated the public domain about the screening, don't screen, screen and don't screen. Now, the challenge I have is that I don't see any reason why we're taking this long. If really and truly, I mean, the confirmation exercise is completed and we have 36 men. I'm saying men, I'm just using that as for humanity, but I'm saying gentlemen and women who have been screened and confirmed as ministers of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. What is the presidency waiting for to release a portfolio? Why do government always wait for people to rumor things or to start assuming or to start generating stories that are not really very true, when the government can actually come out and do what they have to do without allowing people to start having premonitions or ability to spread rumor? Because on the long run, you have a lot of disinformation in the public domain, and eventually government comes out to release the list finally, and it tallies with what we have.
That happened during the election.
It happens during the election.
It doesn't always happen. The first list of ministers that were brought out included people like Obieze and so on. She never did make the list in the end. So sometimes when these lists are misleading. But the most important thing that was is that I personally feel that the president should actually have allocated portfolios to the ministers before they were screened. I believe so, for the simple reason that.
But that would have been totally alien to our process because it's never done.
It doesn't matter whether it's alien or never done. The problem with Nigeria is that if we do what we've always done in the past, then we're going to get the same result we've always got. We're looking for a new result, so why should we have to do what we've always done?
So how come the presidency never thought about that before sending the names?
The issue is why didn't the Senate write back to Mr. President?
I say we need to know the
Don't blame the Senate. The presidency ought to have done the right thing in the first place.
But they haven't done the wrong thing. Also, my issue myself, because having done the wrong thing, then the Senate should have been there to say, I'm sorry, we don't accept this. We need to know Because if you're going to ask you questions, I mean, they were asking people questions about specific areas of,
tailored questions would have been, yeah.
Did they know that those guys were going to be responsible for those ministries? Now, having said that, though, there's another angle, of course, is that even if the president does allocate ministries to these ministers at this point, he can always change it anyway, because presidents will always reshuffle the cabinets and move people around. Once they've worked and he's seen what they've done, and he might then begin to see, this guy can do better here.
Okay,
we'll move it.
Okay, do quickly for me. Is it possible, because we said it yesterday, and it actually is trending, is it possible, because we have examples, we have references. In the UK, you have had an economic team. Is the president particularly, because if you get the details of the press conference yesterday, they asked him a specific question about, are you merging ministries? He confirmed that, and he said yes.
Yes, he said yes. But the only reason that he gave for merging ministries is the government's inability to pay. He didn't give another reason. It wasn't a fiscal, if you like, reasoning. It wasn't anything to do with anything but the fact that we can't afford to pay ministers. But that's a bit curious, because that's what he said.
No, Duke. Yes, he said that. But my concern was that if you remember a couple of statements that the president had made long before now, saying that eventually, where I think the president is trying to merge parastatals. He's trying to, because we have a lot of them. Analysis and information have it that we have a lot of them doing the same thing. They have the same assignment or the same objective or the same responsibilities.
Yes, we do have that, but also we do have areas of real concern in the polity and economy and social structure of this country that are not being addressed. We talked about things like diversity. We've never had a minister for diversity, and yet diversity is one of our biggest problems.
Exactly.
The inability to work together as a unit, as a team. We have these tribal issues. I would have thought that if you're looking to change this country, that's one of the first things that you look at. And to be able to solve that problem, you have to have a man or woman on that problem, i.e. a minister. The economy is a very, very difficult one. We've got issues with NNPC. Why can't the government actually split some of the ministers? I would actually appoint more ministers, not less. The reason being quite simply this. Why? Should I tell you why? If you have a problem and that needs to solve, how do you solve it? You put somebody on the problem.
That's true.
We have so many problems, so put ministers on the problems. You are specifically responsible for this electricity distribution and infrastructure, even if you're just a minister for 3 years. But face that, when there was a water crisis in the UK, the British government appointed a minister for water on the spot, because it's a problem that needs to be solved. So why are you reducing ministries when we have so many problems in the country? You should be increasing them. And don't tell me about not being able to pay them, because we have enough money in the country, maybe not in government pockets, but in the pockets of people. Let Buhari go and use his mandate, his goodwill that he's got right now to fight corruption, and tell Nigerians, this country needs to be run by you.
Okay.
And because I'm Buhari, and because I promised you that I will fight corruption, I guarantee you that my tax raises I'm going to give you is going to be used to ensure the country goes forward. That is my promise to you. And if I fail, kick me out in 4 years.
All right. I mean, well said. Very beautifully put, Duke Oputa. We won't take more stories here because we have to quickly go on a short break. When we come back, we'll be talking about the main topic for today, and that is how the government will have to recover the Nigerian economy. The economy is run virtually away from us, and we are chasing it. And as far as I'm concerned, exactly. So we need to start putting measures in place to see how we can recover back the Nigerian economy. We'll go on a short break now. When we come back, we'll be talking with Duke Oputa. We'll be right back.
So, did you like what you just saw? I know you did. It's very simple. If you want to see more, just subscribe to our channel right now.